don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So, because I have the best dad in the world.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, no matter what time it is when you're seeing this video. It is time, it is time, it is time, and guess what? Y'all should know what time it is. It is time. Oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that for your boy one time. You won't be disappointed. Let's get to the video. Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope that you're having a wonderful start to y'all day so far. As you can see, we are out and about, but this place is a little bit special. We are down here by the river. Cincinnati, Ohio. Right across, I was going to say right across the street, but right across the way over there, Newport, Kentucky. This is one of many places that you can come to in Cincinnati that's just real chill, real relaxed. It's this spot right here down by the river. On down that way on the other side, there's another place that's a chill spot that's on the other side of the river. You also have Eden Park that you can go to. There's multiple places that you can go for just a chill spot. But anyway, I chose to come here because today is it marks a very special day. We have hit 50 family members for the channel. Man, that just, it's touching. Like, we are on our way. Like, we are going to be on our way, guys. Like, I just appreciate every single one of you that's been here and the new family members that subscribe to the channel. Hey, you know what? Welcome to the family. I appreciate y'all. So, what I definitely want to talk about briefly is about family. I know, please excuse the wind in the background if it gets a little bit too windy, but let me just talk about family. I was born in 1989, December 18th, 1989. Yeah, I'm an 80s baby. I probably came to the party a little bit late before I almost got into the 90s, but hey, I'm still 80s. Call it whatever you want. But the biggest thing about it is just family. For those who know me personally, I lost my father when I was 11. So I'm 34 now, about to be 35 in December. So I lost my father when I was 11. And back in 2021, I lost my mother to her battle with breast cancer. A reason why I mentioned about family, you only get one set of parents. For I know some of my listeners may be younger, some may be a little bit older. So the ones that's a little bit older, you understand this. But for the younger generation, I just want to tell you guys this: you only get one set of parents. My life changed for me when I was in middle school. I was 7 going into the 8th grade. So you might as well say back in like 2002 is when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. Around this time, or I should say around that time, you want to be focused about your life changing. The most thing you'll be worried about was how stressful it was for your homework assignments, that project that you had to do, quizzes, study for quizzes and tests, worry if a girl or a boy liked you, whether you male or female, if someone liked you, you had your friends, you wanted to play sports, you wanted to go to the mall. All that with me, it shifted. I literally had to grow up at a accelerating rate due to the fact of my mom coming up with breast cancer. So we were like, I didn't understand the concept of what cancer really was. I just knew that people would get sick from cancer and it would just change their life to where they couldn't do a lot of stuff that they used to. But this was different. It got bad to where my mom, it started out with her left breast having to be removed and reconstructed because that's where the cancer started. And the doctors, they could have swore that they actually got all the cancer out. So you might as well say 6 or 7 months down the road, the cancer came back again because it was a tiny little speck that was left within the left breast after they removed it and reconstructed it. It came back to the right side. We went through the same exact procedure. had the breast removed, reconstructed. My mom beat it for a decade. So throughout this time, I already had to change to where I had to work on getting my work permit. I had to get my first job. Started working at Kings Island when I was this was at the back at that time, it was Paramount's Kings Island. Now it's just Kings Island. It's owned by Cedar Point or Cedar Fair. I started working at 15 and a half. And I literally just said that I had to chip in. I had to help out any way possible that I could possibly do. So instead of me being able to have fun like how I wanted to, my mom, she wanted me to have a good experience. She wanted me to live my life. She wanted me to have fun as a teenager. It's hard to do that when you only got one mom. You already lost your father when you was 11. You didn't want to lose your mom either, so you wanted to do everything that you could possibly do. So throughout that time, my mom was in remission for a whole decade. And after that, it came back. So at this time, I already went through high school. I went to Mount Healthy High School for my freshman and sophomore year. Junior, senior year, I went to the Great Oaks. So I went over to Scarlet Oaks. Good vocational school, technical school. So I went to go to do like construction and framing and technologies. So once, if I can find the file, I may just take the picture while I get to the house later. But for my senior project, I ended up making this breast cancer dresser drawer. And I dedicated that to my mom for her battle going through breast cancer and anyone that was going through breast cancer. Long story short, I ended up getting an A+ for that project. But the founders that was within Susan B. Komen for the Breast Cancer Foundation, somehow, some way, my instructor, he had a lot of connections, especially being in construction. So the founders for Susan B. Komen actually came to see me present my senior project. It was great. My mom was there, the founders, they were there, my peers, everyone was there, my classmates. I had like the grand stage. It was a awesome and beautiful performance. And so at the end, the foundation wanted to have the original project to have it displayed within their walls of their establishment. It was a nice gesture, and they were offering a pretty decent amount of good money for it. But this was my mom. So I told him, I said I had to respectfully decline because this was a gift to my mom. And to this day, we still have it. It's still in the house. But after a decade, breast cancer came back. Yeah, it was devastating. Come to find out, it progressed. And we said, you know what? We're not going to do the chemo radiation treatment. They kept pressing the issue for her to do chemo. They want her to do chemo. They want her to do chemo. So, and my family, we are firm believers of being holistic. So we believe in natural herbs and remedies. So I may end up just putting like a list down of things. I'm only going to name a few, but I'm going to put down a list of things that helps out with cancer. You tell anything that's typical. If you don't want to go through the chemo radiation treatments, or if you want to find an alternative, it was soursop. You had your apricot. If you can get an original apricot, cut it open and take the apricot seeds out of the middle. You grind that up. You take tea, like you could grind that up and put it into like teaspoon form. That's great as well. If not, you can find it in apricot drops. I'm not sure if Amazon or anyone else still has apricot drops, because since people started figuring out what it really was, they took it out the market because they noticed that it was helping people out with it whenever they were ill. There was also apple cider vinegar with mother, cranberry juice, and also you could do the soursop either in the fruit form. You go to your local grocery store, like if you can go to the Mexican American restaurants or grocery stores, they actually have the soursop. It's in a square package. It's real gummy, so if you chew on it, it's literally like having a Laffy Taffy, you might as well say, a frozen Laffy Taffy. You just chew a little quarter of that. You can even get it in a liquid form. They have it as coconut water. They have it as that form. There's unlimited possibilities. There are things that's out there that will help you overcome a lot of stuff. All you gotta do is just do your research. But like I said, I'm only gonna go through like a few of those, and I'm put like a list of everything that helps out with it. So, and of course, you have your flaxseed. Like it's a lot. It's a lot that you can do. But we went through that route, and we also believed in power of incense and the power of prayer. So within that time, since we declined to have the chemo radiation treatment done, the doctors told my mother, like, well, since you're not going to take that, we're only going to give you 6 months to live. So just imagine being told that back in around like 2004, 2005, that you got 6 months to live. Fast forward all the way up. My mom lived up to be until 2021. That's a long 6 months, right? So, beat all odds on that. We went through the whole list of treatments. Better yet, the cancer cells started shrinking. They just started shrinking, and then my mom's personal doctor, someone who she trusted in, she told her that she was happy about the decision that she made, but there's also this treatment that they have for aromatherapy. It's not chemo radiation, but it's a holistic approach to things. We're like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and try that out, because let's just be honest, when it came down to like finances and the way how inflation is now, it was a lot worse back then too, to where a lot of these things, the ingredients, it can get expensive at times, and it was burning a hole in the pocket. So we went ahead and took their approach and did the aromatherapy. Little do we know, they lied to us about it. They said it was aromatherapy, but it was another form of chemo. So my mom went in to do her chemo radiation treatments, when we think it's aromatherapy. She went in weighing at roughly 213 pounds, 220 pounds. They're supposed to go according to your weight. The thing about it was, they never decreased the dosage. They kept her as if she was at 220 pounds. And she got all the way down to being like 150, 160 pounds. And it was just eating away at her on the inside. It was burning her on the inside. So we went to go to OHC, which is a second opinion from another, another facility or another practitioner. We went there. We told them what was going on. Did the x-rays, CAT scans, everything. By this time, the cancer already doubled. They said that the cancer got used to that chemo that they were giving her, and instead of it decreasing, it was evolving to it and adapt to it. So at this point, the cancer already came back into the right breast, then metastasized means it just transferred down from the breast and spread down to the liver. So it got down to the liver. It took over 60% of the liver. So with that being said, they said that they had the treatment that they had my mother on before we went to go do the second opinion. It's called Trivoli. So if there's anybody that's out there and they try to persuade you to take Trivoli, in my personal opinion, I can't tell you what to do. Like, that's anyone that's going through any kind of cancer, it's your decision at the end of the day. But in my personal opinion, I would not recommend Trivoli. Look at the bars right there. It's one of the bars, the 1 minute you come through here. I wouldn't recommend Trivoli because it does more harm than good. So at this time, they were going to give my mom this other treatment. They said that, but the immune system was so weak to where that Wednesday, if she would have took the treatment, by that Wednesday, she would no longer be here. She would be unalive by that Friday. So it was very emotional. me and my mom, we always had our thing. We went to Speedway. We went to go get our like frozen fountain drink, and I asked her if she wanted anything. She said yeah. I went in, came back, she was just bust down in tears, just crying, and I felt the same exact way the moment I left from the car, because that was just them saying like there's nothing more that we can do. And I was beating myself up about it so much to where I wish I could have done more. The knowledge that I have now about these different remedies and everything, I wish I had that knowledge then. And it hurted so much to where just to sit back and see your family member losing an inch of their life every single second is nothing that you can do about it. So they asked my mom what she wanted to do. She wanted to go ahead and live out the rest of her days that her good God intended her to do. And with that being said, they said they was going to give her like a week to a week and a half to be here, so just to make arrangements. My mom lived to go about 2.5 weeks. At this time, I was working at the post office, and I went ahead and took my vacation time just so I could spend my time with my mother. And throughout that time, it was like my mom, she was a strong-willed person. I just kept holding on, just saying like, well, she beat this before, I know she could beat it again. I was just waiting for just that opportunity to come for her to say that she was feeling good, she was on her feet. My mom was a strong fighter. She managed to keep a smile on her face, and throughout this time, she kept a smile on her face. She even went out and tried to raise money for one of our neighbors who recently passed away around that time by murder. And his family didn't have a life insurance policy or anything, so she went out and did the legwork. She raised the money enough for the funeral and for them to get them a casket so he could have a proper burial. Throughout this time, she was going through her own battles. When people asked her how she felt, she said that she felt like it was someone taking hot glass and just piercing her skin where it was just on fire. But yet, she still managed to keep a smile on her face. So when I see her and when I saw what she went through, I'm like, where is that I'm going through? I know I can overcome it. She was a strong woman. She was my inspiration. So within that time, it was that Friday, I went ahead and put in my vacation time, and I wanted to spend time with my mom. We had that whole week together. Then came that next Friday. We had our family members coming over because hospice wanted her to be admitted into hospice, but she didn't want to be in hospice. She wanted to be in the comfort of her own home. So we got to that Friday evening. Me and my mom, we sat there. We was up all night from like 12 o'clock, midnight, all the way up until 6:30, 7 o'clock that next morning. We were just laughing, having a conversation, just being real. We had that one-on-one. We had that bonding moment. And I laid my head across my mom's chest, and the tears just started flowing. And she just put her hand on top of my head. She said that, you're going to be okay. And that was, I love my mom dearly. I definitely say that was one of the many times that we had a one-on-one interaction, I should say. Then at 10 o'clock a.m., that's when I feel like that's when my life was just dropping. I was literally with my mother, and it just seemed like each hour by the hour, it was like her life was just going away. It was just depleting. She was just reverting back to where the first thing that left was her ability to talk. Then after that was her inability to walk. The only thing that she could really do was just nod her head either yes or no. Then the next thing that came after that was the inability for her to hold her bowel movements, being able to go to the bathroom on her own. Until this is where I could talk about it. Before, I used to be real emotional about it, but now it's more so like a privilege, because the fact that I had to change my mother. My grandmother, she changed the bed sheet out of the bed sheet and the bed cover that we had there, And while she was changing that, I was able to hold my mom in my arms. And I just looked at her, see how her eyes closed, and she had her head up against my chest. And when I tell y'all, that was a beautiful moment for me, just because of the fact that it was like life came in full circle. When I was brought into this world by my mother, she was changing me. She held me while I was young, and now I got a chance to hold her. It was the fact that I had the privilege of doing that, but I told my mom that it was nothing I could ever do to repay her for everything she has done for me and the person that she has made today. And by this time, my son, like the mother of my kids, she was pregnant with our son. And during this time, she was already admitted to the hospital. And there was some slight complications. Let's just say that his umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck, and he had 3 knots in his umbilical cord. So throughout this time, I'm at home with my mom while she's in the hospital, basically getting her labor induced because she was going to have an emergency C-section. So at this time, I'm at home with my mom. She's holding on. Hospitals was there. They was instructing us. They was telling us like, hey, just to minimize the pain, just go ahead and give her some morphine. Little do we know, and little do I know the lack of knowledge, that morphine was easing things. It's not helping, but it was just making the process go by easier. And I just kept holding on to that hope of just knowing that, hey, my mom, she's gonna come out of this. She's gonna come out of this, no problems. She's gonna come back to the way how she was, but coming back stronger. At this time, I had my kids with me, and it was around 2:30 going on 3 o'clock that morning, and my kids was getting tired, so I went ahead and I took them home. My mom was holding on, but the moment that I got home, I got back to the house, and I tucked my kids in. Something just felt off, and the moment that I put my kids to bed, I got into the bed myself, and before I knew it, my grandmother called me. The time was 3:13. She said that. So you guys know, my nickname is Putt Putt. My mom, my grandmother gave me a nickname. So my grandmother calls, and she literally tells me like, hey, I think that you should come back because I don't think she's here no more. So I went ahead, got the kids up, and I took the kids over to my sister-in-law's house. And at the time it was my sister-in-law. I went ahead and dropped them off at the house, came home, and I'm just seeing my mom just laying there like she wasn't in no kind of pain. She's like that. She just went to sleep peacefully, but she had a smile on her face. My mother waited until I left. And for those who don't know, that's one of the most gut-wrenching, hurtful things that you could ever experience. That your loved one decide to wait for you to leave just so they can pass on. That moment I was very just emotional until, man, just going back to relive it and just a recap on it, it still gives me like goosebumps, and it just it has me remember that day. And it was just so unreal. It still felt like it was a dream. Even when the coroners came to the house and they picked my mom up, they picked up her body, or shall I say, picked up her vessel. But mind you, the man upstairs, universe, God works in mysterious ways. Within that 12-hour period, I get a phone call stating that I need to get to the hospital because my son's on the way, and he needs to be delivered like ASAP. So I'm still in the process of grieving for my mom, but I'm scrubbing up so I can get ready to go in the operating room so we can have our son be blessed. He's gonna arrive here to this world. It was just a blessing in disguise, because at this time, my mother and my kids, her mother, she passed away a year before my mother did. And TJ, our son, was our miracle baby, because they literally told us that if we would have waited any longer, he would not have made it. So at that moment, he got a chance to see his grandmothers. He got a chance to see them in the spiritual realm, not physically, but he saw them, their paths cross. And he was our miracle baby, man. I love that man dearly. I love him dearly, because that was like the embodiment of both of our parents. And as he was growing up, their spirits are within him. And the fact that when he smiles, you can't help but just to see that. So, we're here in the present time. With my mother-in-law being here, it's rough. It's rough. It still feels brand new. And they always say that the time shall pass. It's hard. You can never forget your parents, man. I don't care who tells you. It's hard to forget your parents. The only thing that you have left is all the precious memories. So it builds up to what I'm saying here. If the younger generation, if you still here, I appreciate you guys for paying attention to this. For everybody else, you know this. If you experience the loss of a loved one, you understand. For the ones that haven't, I'll put it this way. It took a year for my mom to come back to me in a dream. And I made a video. I'm going to post it at the top right hand of the screen. I may just do like a little snippet, a screenshot of it. I made a video about my mother coming back to me in a dream. It took her a year to reach her destination. And when I tell you, you have nothing but just a great memories that you have with your parents, that keeps you going. And that's one great way to keep that memory alive. So for the younger guys, or for the younger men and women, I should say, when you run around and you say that you have like your best friend's mom's like your second mom or your second dad, you got one set of parents. Once they're gone, that's it. For those who have like arguments with their parents, you don't want that to be on a bad note. I understand what you being a teenager. We be smelling ourselves. We feel like that everybody is against us. But at the moment that you get older and wiser, you start realizing that family is all that you really have. And sometimes that's even scarce as well, because family do family dirty. Let's just call a spade a spade. Family do family members dirty. This is up to you on how you perceive that and how you're going to make that work out. But one thing you cannot do is end things on a bad note, because you never know when it's going to be the last time you see somebody, whether it's your parents or your friends, any family member. You can't be bitter. You can't keep walking around with that chip on your shoulder. You can't have this negativity cloud hanging over you. You can't have animosity. You can't end on bad terms, because it's hard for you to go to the funeral home and to see your loved one in that casket, and the last thing that y'all had was hatred towards each other. So that's why I said family is important. You only get one set of parents. Cherish your parents that you have. Love on your parents. Kiss them. Tell them that you love them. Tell them how much they mean to you. And with being a parent myself, hearing your child say that they love you, or they tell you how much or what you mean to them, man, that means the world to a person. It gives you just that drive just to keep going. So if you made it this far to the video, like I said, thank you very much for our 50 family members that we have that has subscribed and joined the family. I love and appreciate every single one of you guys. We're on the road to 60. I'm not going to say we're on the road to 100, the 100 family members. We're going to take this one step at a time. We're on our road to 60 family members. So if you can, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this video to someone who actually needed to hear this message. I love you, and I appreciate you guys for taking the time to be here with me today. As always, take care. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey guys, this is the end of the video, but we hope you enjoyed it. And we're about to head home. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. So, because I have the best dad in the world.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard her. Like, she said for the best dad in the world, you also got to make sure you smash that like button. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Join the family. We're going to continue to keep doing great things. So, therefore, with that being said, guys, we love you. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one.